What is your favorite one? It is AfroEconomics Live. It's Wednesday night. It is my favorite time. My favorite time of Wednesday is Wednesday night. What's your favorite time of Wednesday? I love Wednesday morning too. I can't complain. It's so good to see you, Mr. Bozeman. It is. It is good to see you, Miss Howard. Y'all are such a blessing. Such a blessing. How are you doing, Mr. Harden? How are you doing, Miss Davis? Oh, yes. King Hollis is in here with us tonight. Little Miss Embry is in here. Miss Galloway is in here. You know, look at that. Got some federal people, got some municipal people, got some corporate America people, got some retired people. Y'all are quiet. All the ugly people, be quiet. Hi. That's right. Speak, queen, speak. Indeed. It is time to express our freedom. I was listening to this video today, and this brother said he is the chosen one. and the love of my life, my husband said, how does he know he's the chosen one? I said, I don't know, but I'm going to use it. I am the chosen one.
All right.
Right? I'm going to make somebody else ask, how she know she the chosen one? The chosen one, Miss Walton.
I chose you.
You chose me. That's right. That's right.
You the chosen one.
I am the chosen one. Yes, indeed. Or at least I got the answer. Somebody asked me. Michael told me. Mr. Robinson told me. I am the chosen one. Amen. I'm truly blessed. This is AfroEconomics Live, y'all. We got to get live with it. We got to make sure we change somebody's life tonight. I am JP Bryan, and this is an opportunity to talk about pensions versus 401k versus 403b versus IRAs versus all the other 457 versus the TSP. You know, everybody always says like 401k all the time. But did you know that 401k, 457, 403b, all those are IRS tax codes? But if I asked you, do you know what I mean, any of the tax codes, you would probably say no, correct?
Right.
Correct.
Yeah.
But if you ever said, I have a 401k, you know an IRS tax code. You know, and that's the way it's broken down. But all of those, this is some of that trivia. See, that AfroEconomics trivia, like, will take you places. When you start like throwing out this stuff, and then, you know, people will invite you to all of the masked up parties. When we start taking invite you, because you know all this financial, right? So
It's fading in and out.
what happened? That's
It's fading in and out.
I'm fading in and out?
Yes.
Oh, what is that? What is up with that? I don't, but I hear somebody else's microphone kind of coming in and out too.
Right.
And that might be like interfering, but I don't see their name pop up. I can usually tell whose microphone it is. But I'm gonna try. I'm gonna pick that. Oh, look at that. I'm gonna try. I think I'm going after you. I'm coming for you, Mr. King Hollis. I'm coming for you. It was his. He was like, well, I ain't asked you to open my microphone anyway. so we found it. We found it. Thank God. I'm getting kind of quick with this. It's only been 100 years, me and Zoom. I should know it by now. But I definitely want to thank you for last week. Last week, when you were using the email, and then Zoom had some technical challenges in taking care of my upgrade on my account. And so when we checked in, the code was wrong. So I thank you for keeping the faith, because a lot of people lose the faith. Like if they try something, that's what I was telling to the people at Zoom. I said, look, you can't play with my people, because when we want to use a click, when we want to click, you want that click to do things. You want that click to come through. And I was like, this is too many times when we're hitting the click and it's not happening. But I admire those of you who have the faith to hit the click, knowing that sometimes this technology is a trip, but we're not going to allow it to have the best of us. We're going to keep the faith, keep trying, keep clicking, keep moving forward. Because this is how we get this exchange. This is how we get to grow. This is how we get to learn about what? The deferred compensation and versus defined contribution versus defined benefit. So defined contribution would be a great way to describe, and it is the proper way to describe a 401k, a 403b, a 457. It's called a defined contribution versus a pension plan is described by the IRS as a defined benefit plan. So with the pension, it makes sense that it would be called defined benefit, because the pension is defining to you exactly what your benefit is, meaning what type of money you are going to get at a particular time in your life. So up until like the 1980s, that it was, pension, if a company wanted to do something nice for you, then you would have a pension plan available. And they say, if you work for us for this amount of years, then you are going to get paid this amount of money for the rest of your life. And not even, at no point did every company have pension. It was always, a great benefit for a great company. But up until the 80s, that defined benefit pensions were the most popular retirement plan offered by a job. But today, they represent about what? What percentage of people working today do you think have access to pension plans, approximately?
I would say less than 20.
Less than 10%.
Less than, okay.
10%.
You're saying 10? What you saying, Ms. Davis?
Less than 20.
Less than 20. Wow. I guess
1%.
you would
7%.
look, Miss Davis, you would lose because on The Price is Right, you can't go over, correct? Like you can't go over. You would get it. It's the Bozeman wins because it's actually about 17% with the 2018 labor statistics criteria, but it's definitely less than 20, how it would be described.
Big drop.
Yeah, a big, huge drop. Where where it was the most popular plan, but now the most popular are the plans where it's defined, how much money you get in retirement is defined by your contribution. So the beauty of the original defined benefit pension was that it was all employer money.
Right.
Put away for you. Now, most of the plans that have pensions now, Mr. Bozeman, it's not even the most of the money comes from the employer. I find that to be amazing. Like I have looked at some, pension plans where 4% of the money that's in it comes from the employee. And like 1 or 2% comes for a pension plan is actually coming from the employer. So understand.
Yeah, they're getting away with it.
Yeah, because they still are using the name pension when really I don't think it should be described that way. Because people are giving them the credit and people are, assuming that they're going to have a replacement even of their income. When, the pensions are not designed to be able to completely replace the income that you're making at work, right? They're just
Right.
designed to just give you something. But there are a lot of people who work, don't spend any time trying to talk to anybody like, that's licensed financial advisor to actually get information on what is it. Like in our AfroEconomics membership, thankfully, I enjoy actually looking in the pension plans. I really I encourage them to put into our portal the information on your specific plan, because they do have it, and most of it, especially because it's offered by the federal or municipality, they'll have in there the description of it is publicly available for you to download the PDF, and then we go through it. And you could be talking to a coworker that started at the municipality or business or whatever before you or after you, and have a totally different plan. So they can tell you something that they're getting, but it has nothing to do with what you're getting. Right, Ms. Walton?
Right.
People who work at your old employer, their pension now doesn't even exist. They don't have a pension.
No, they have a 401k.
Exactly.
Strictly.
With the match. And we're talking about a major telephone company.
Right.
No, you would have never thought, like back in the day, that was like the best, that would be one of the best retirement plans companies out there. Even early in the game, but that I discovered that perception for us goes a long way. We base things a lot on how things are perceived, right, Ms. Cotman? Like how you think things are, how you heard that they were going to be, but you really, you come in, you sign up, they say, here, sign here, here to get on the in the pension plan, but you never even find out, how much is going to actually be put in the pension plan for you? How much of my income should I expect to be replaced by this pension plan? And I believe that the biggest blessing about the AfroEconomics membership is when I talk to people and they go, hey, I'm gonna be retiring in years, not months. Like before that I really focused my practice on the membership and planning, I was always meeting people at the end of their career. And I said, the only way for me to change this and really increase the wealth within our community is that I have to focus on getting to know you before a time of crisis or a time of pressure. Because you deserve to have a plan. You deserve to have me in your Rolodex. You deserve to have, you look at this. Let me figure out, what is my pension? What should I expect? No surprises, no surprises. We have to, what do I need to do in order to create the life that I want for myself, not just accepting things by definition because you heard from someone else like that this is a good plan or we have a good plan. And then also that we're talking about pensions versus 401ks. So we know now from the research from the Labor Department that pensions are gone, like they're on their way out. And even the pensions that you think that you have, most likely is not as good as the pension that used to be available at that job, at that company, at that corporation. So there are some reasons why you should look at a pension as a pension is great. It's a great opportunity. The greatness of the pension really is in the guarantee of it. They're telling you this is the amount of money you will get for the rest of your life. And if you choose the option for joint life, it says this is the amount that you'll get for the rest of your life, and this is what your spouse will get for the rest of their life if you die and your spouse is still living. But in many situations that and that was a big very important part of the same-sex marriage movement, because prior to allowing the same sex, if they couldn't get married, then that pension could not be passed on to their, to anyone. You couldn't just take your pension like you can take a 401k and leave anyone you want as the beneficiary for your 401k.
Right.
In most cases. But if you're married, most employers are going to require that your spouse sign off on the beneficiary being someone other than your spouse. But if they, in a notarized, approved signature, they say they don't care if it's not me, you can put someone else as a beneficiary on that 401k. But on a pension, there's some variations of it now, where you could say, if I don't live at least 10 years, it could go to another person. I've seen some pensions where it says it can go to this person, then the next person, and then another person. But you know what that means? Your check is getting smaller and smaller. Your original check gets smaller and smaller because it's based on others' lives, and the company has to make it last for longer lives. So in exchange for making it last longer, they say, well, then you get less upfront. So that's a big responsibility for the company that's providing it, right? That's a big, hey, Ms. Hayes. Yeah, I'll put my hair up.
I noticed, I noticed. I was like, oh.
Stop. Let me just stop right now and tell you, you inspired me. And I said, I'm going to try. If you saw what this looks like close up, you'd be like, oh my God, no, she didn't. But, so anyway, back to the show. The 401k, you have more flexibility, especially because you have this lump sum, and the lump sum can be rolled over to an individual retirement account. And if you're married, at your spouse's approval. So it's rolled over to an individual retirement account. Just say you did that. After that, anybody can be the beneficiary of it. Anybody. So though the pension does give you this.
Is that after the 401? Is that after the 401k matures?
No, actually you can just take it out. As long as you don't work at that entity anymore, you can roll it over and it's to an individual retirement account, and it's not even a taxable event. And it still continues to grow tax deferred. And that at that point, because your spouse has signed to allow you to roll it over, then you can, it can actually, anybody can be the beneficiary after that. But I have seen people who have been separated for 30 years and they have to go and find that person because their employer still has them as their spouse, because they are still their spouse. They just separated. And they have to go find that person and get it notarized to allow them to roll over. Isn't that something?
I know a lot of people that they went and signed it.
Oh,
because they were retiring.
that's right.
And they couldn't find them.
They're like, no, I'm not, they don't have to sign. So it's like, what part of that it comes to me? But it is amazing to me though, how many people sign it. Like, I just don't know. Like I've never been in a situation where the man had to get a woman to sign it. But every time I've been involved, it's always a woman that needs a man to sign it, and they always sign it without hesitation. That is amazing to me. You know, like they don't say like, oh, shouldn't I get some of this? Or they just sign it. That's a, you know what I mean? That's a pretty good statistic to be able to say. Like, that, they're like, well, we haven't been together forever. I had this one lady, she had not been married to, she was married to her husband, but they have been separated almost 40 years. He retired he still had her as the primary beneficiary.
Wow.
Him having her on that account, but he was a federal employee, so it couldn't be changed the entire trajectory of her life. Though she was a grown woman, she was able to retire too.
Mm,
And like, that is amazing, isn't it?
that's beautiful.
He never changed it. I'm sure he had a whole nother life, there. But he could never change it unless she had to sign off, and she probably would have signed off on it. But it just wasn't a concern for him. He didn't so it's, definitely it doesn't matter. Those are one of those things that it doesn't matter till it matters.
Mm-hmm.
But it does make you think, I do need, if you're in that type of situation, don't wait until you really want to leave. There are some really challenging things that get involved, that can come to play when it comes to money. I know you all know. So the pension versus the 401k or 403b or TSP, whatever the code is, the bottom line is the pension is determined by the employer, and you may be putting money into that pension fund under the way things are done today and not even know it. And you need to know the estimate. So we put, if you work somewhere and you have a pension that is coming available, you wouldn't know how many people, how many members of our family, of our AfroEconomics family, that I have met, and they had no idea that they had a pension available at their job. And I go, please call and let me check on them. They're like, wow. I've talked to some people, and I have found one lady, I found $300,000 available to her at work that she knew nothing about.
Wow. Wow.
My goodness.
And I'm telling you, she had no idea. The only problem with it is when you have that kind of money and you're not doing what you could have been doing with it.
Yeah.
We could have been growing that money. You never get that time back. We have that time going forward, but so there's definitely some important things for reasons why we need to talk more. We need to take the financial planning sessions seriously, and then those of you who are doing this, really give yourself more credit. The time that it takes for us to go through these questions. What is the pension? What if I don't have a pension? What is a good thing? Because sometimes the company doesn't have a pension, but it has a great 401k or deferred or defined contribution plan or deferred compensation plan, where you are putting the money away pre-tax. And the key there is that we have to make sure that we're investing it correctly according to your financial goals. They have these plans and they have the match, and billions of dollars go unmatched by companies because the people don't participate. So you can put it like, we need to first find out what is the amount that the company will match. And am I putting in, my maximum? Can I put in more? Because if you have loans on your retirement account, you're basically slowing down, your ability to accumulate for your future, because part of the money that you're putting away each month is going towards the loans. And the loans have become so commonplace, and that we don't even realize that they're slowing us down like that. I don't know why. My phone keeps, I don't know if y'all can hear it. It's doing like humming. I finally got to turn it off. I don't know why you have to put your passcode in to turn a phone off. Samsung, why? But I think that tonight's discussion is really important, because is a pension better than a 401k? Have you had to answer that just yes or no?
It depends, I think.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
You have to say yes or no. Is
Yes.
yeah,
I would say
Yes.
yes. Yeah, me too.
And I would say that overall, most people would say yes, but I would say no.
Because you have the investment part of it that you can invest it in different
That's right.
programs.
That's right. And I feel very confident about that.
Mm.
I think that most people probably, because they don't do it for a living, don't feel very confident that they can outdo the company, performance. Well, basically with the pension, as with our Social Security, money is going away for us, but we don't have any involvement in how it grows.
Mm-hmm.
Are you
So
at risk with a pension that they can take it away?
yeah, the company can go into, the company could go under. You do have the pension, guarantee company, but they don't have to guarantee it up to 100%.
Mm.
And then
Interest.
so that you could have I think they have to do up to 80%. You know what I mean? Guaranteed on the pension, but at least you know that you're getting something. But they could be, but it's called the Pension Benefit Guarantee Corporation. Yeah, it insures private pensions, and it will step in if the pension fails. But the agency has only so much money to hand out. If your pension fails, there's a good chance you won't get your full benefit, and some
Right.
people you may not get a penny. Whoa.
Mm-hmm.
No, I mean, so that's on, you can look up Pension Benefit Guarantee Corporation. See, with a 401k, that's not going to happen, unless you invest it unwisely. But in most cases, people see pensions as the ultimate retirement savings tool. But they don't, they're not, nothing is perfect. Nothing is
Mm-hmm.
perfect. Someone was telling me something the other day about something being 100% guaranteed. I was like, there's no such thing. You know what I'm saying? It's like, there's
Yeah.
just this thing. I was like, as a licensed financial professional, you know what I'm saying? I can say there's just there's just no such thing. There's just period. You know what I mean? There's risk involved in everything. There's risk involved in being too conservative. There's risk involved in being too aggressive. There's just always risk involved. So I feel like 401ks, because it's your money put into a totally separate, the company controls pension funds. 401ks are like having an investment account. When that company matches your contribution, it's no longer theirs unless they have some sort of vesting process. But it'll say you might have to work here for at least 2 years to get all of our money or something like that. But they'll fully disclose that. But all of your money is your money.
But JB, wouldn't it be to the company's best interest to maximize the investments in pension plans? Why, I wouldn't think that they would go in with the intention of, oh, well, we're going to put them in this particular plan. We don't really care if it grows or not. I think that's really kind of morally just corrupt, if that's the thought process.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's it.
But
Corrupt.
Yeah.
Bottom line.
Key word there, right? But definitely your question is why wouldn't a pension,
Why wouldn't a company want to? Wouldn't they want to give their employees the best? If you're gonna put this money in for a pension, why not make sure it is maximized to the fullest so that it can get a great return?
Well, those are two different things. Because maximizing the contributions to it, it's almost literally impossible because they just don't know how long you're going to live. So we just if everybody starts retiring and they live to 125 years old, that's going to be real hard. They're going to run out of money.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But if based on, if they guarantee those withdrawals based on people dying at 85, they have to determine an approximate amortization when they tell you
Right.
the amount you're going to get for the rest of your life. They're depending you on that life ending at like 85.
Mhm.
They're depending on your life going out to 120. You know, so we just, everybody that got the vaccine got some sort of superpower. They're going to be in trouble. You know what I mean? Like, oh, wow, the vaccine makes people live. Wouldn't that be something? People live 120 years. This is amazing. They all have in common. They got the vaccine. You know what I mean? They'd be up in trouble.
Mhm.
Social Security too, because it's based on that same principle. You
Right.
have to die. You have to die for this to be all right. Like, what? You know, look, that's why they got cigarettes and liquor. They stayed open forever. Like, you better go in and die and stay out of the gym. You know what I mean? They close down the gym. Can't get in there. But you know, interesting. But you just really, you know, I'm just playing with that. But you never know. Like they will, like, especially the Social Security fund. It's running out. So works under that same principle. At this age, for the rest of your life, you will get this amount. But if you look at the pension the same way as Social Security, think about, you put away 7.5% of your income from day one, and your employer put away 7.5%. That's 15%, and you get that little check.
Mm-hmm.
That little check. Can you imagine having access to 15%? The way we could invest that money, but you don't have that option. So that's given an investor that is doing it for the long term, is committed to getting financial advice and having a great, well-diversified portfolio, they can do better by having the same amount of money invested in their 401k and have a lot more options as far as generational wealth.
Now, question, JB. So if the market goes down, the pension is also tied to the market, right?
Some of it, I'm sure. Yeah.
Okay. And so, like you were saying earlier, nothing is 100%, because once again, if the market goes down and someone panics, they pull all that money out, they've still lost, you know?
That's right.
Yeah.
Pension managers can make that same mistake too.
But
when there was a time,
good point,
where companies like Verizon and stuff like that, their pensions, and Bell Atlantic, their pensions were like overfunded because the market was doing so well and things like that. Like, but it's, when the market isn't doing, well, then, that it works to their disadvantage because it's not overfunded, and they have to provide that money. Or also, if people just healthier, start living longer, things like that, like, that are the more will be the mortality rate get longer, what I'm saying? Yeah, they'd be like, whoa. So that we have to the first goal would just be to investigate what is available at your job, but also know that if you have a job that does not have a pension, but they have a match, you can still do very well for yourself. If you're self-employed and you are in a position to save, you can still do very well for yourself. You just have to invest it correctly. Like, the only people who live well during retirement should not just be people who have a pension plan. But it seems like that ends up being the case for our community way too often. And with pensions going away, then that will mean that we're gonna not have some good retirement stuff. So, there's less and less that's happening. So the more and more that it's blatantly depends on you, because it's always dependent on you. They're just taking part of even if you see it or not, they're taking part of your compensation to put into that pension plan. You know how you'll see your salary, but then you see your total compensation? Your total, that money that they're putting away for you is included in your total compensation. so if you're doing it on your own, doing it into the 401k, you have to, realize that you're taking part of your money and then they're matching it. That's increasing your total compensation. You own your own business. You're putting in that 7.5%, you know what I mean, to that of Social Security, but you also could have a retirement account. We could set up an individual retirement account, and put that money away for yourself. So there's so many ways. In addition to with the business, we have to make a commitment on building value in the business all the time, all the days of your life, so that your business can be considered an asset, so that you can use that to fund your future also. Right? Mm-hmm. Why not have a pension? He said that's in investment accounts. What was that? Somebody chatted, I think. Why not have a pension and IRAs or their investment account and IRAs or their I don't know, Ms. Johnson, what you're saying. But I can do some variation of like the pensions. Some corporations now, because they want to reduce their pressure of having to decide how long you're going to live. Now, there are also ways where you can actually roll over. Like it might say your monthly would be this, the lump sum offer is this amount. And you can take that lump sum of the pension. So the pension might say $2,000 a month, or you could take $600,000 in a lump sum. And then you take that $600,000 and then you would invest that.
Okay, JB.
Is that taxable?
Not the rollover. It's only taxable like your pension is when you receive money out of it. So that's nice. And then Verizon did a lot of that in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to get people out, of the pension. They said, you have this offer, you can take this cash balance. Take it. You're like, why would they do that? Well, they don't have to worry about it anymore. But now you have to take full responsibility of making sure that money lasts for your life. And it's very possible, but that discipline comes in where it's like, you can't, take care of things for everybody else.
Yeah.
The person I saw it not work for the most was, oh, well, my son needed this car. My daughter needs this. Oh, I thought I was going to buy that. Oh, I wanted to buy this. Oh, I need to go so-and-so. And you keep taking little chunks and they add up.
Mm-hmm.
They really add up. If you had the pension, you wouldn't have had that option. So that's why it ends up that the person lives better, because it basically forces them to budget. So when you get that lump sum, you have to be a more disciplined person, but it can really work out better for you and your legacy, having that flexibility and access. And Lord knows if you have a good investment advisor, hey, right? Then, we're managing it properly, it can outperform, and you could possibly have a higher income than you get from the pension. But that takes work. You have to be all in. Because if that pension check, you can't say, oh, send me 20 pension checks because I need that lump sum. You can't do it. But you can take it when you're looking at it, you see how much you have, and you have to say, well, no, that's for my future. That's for my future. I have clients. 99% of my clients that I started with in 1995 are still living today. That's a long time, and their money is still growing. That's fantastic. But do you know what the type of discipline that takes? At the same time, I could tell you so many sad stories. Sometimes people take money out, they take money out, They take money out and then they get that letter from the IRS.
Mhm.
Even if we withhold the taxes, when you're taking out all of those different ones over the year, all of your income together becomes a whole different tax bracket. So then you got to do what? Take out some more to pay the IRS. And back in the day, they weren't even 59 and a half yet. So then you get an additional 10% penalty. Now people retire at their original time, but in the 90s, at the original time, which I'm saying like in their 60s, but back in the 90s, people were retiring in their 40s.
Right.
Right? You remember that? It was like,
Yes.
it was nothing.
Years of age.
Yeah. 48, 49, 50. They'll be out. Our clients that have not worked since they were in 48, 49. And thank God they have not had to. That's amazing when we think about it now, right?
Yeah. I don't think that.
Need to do a party with them. Be like, look, you made it. You made it. but they're not even 80 yet. They're in their mid-70s. It's still young. They could live. Somebody live that long statistically, they'll probably live. You know what I'm saying? The majority of them will live to 100.
Now, JB,
Mhm.
before I met you, I worked at this company and I had a pension, but I was one of those persons that didn't even know I had a pension. And I've been at the company for like 11 years. So
Nice.
they located me, would send a letter. They did it for like maybe 3, maybe almost 4 years annually to say, what do you want done with this money? And I saw the number and I said, oh, well, you know what? I really could get me a new car and oh, God knows, ain't no telling what else. But the miser that I am, I said, nah. So I would just leave it there. And then finally, I said, well, the options, as it was explained, you can take it in one lump sum, or you can have them disperse it to you monthly, or you could roll it over into one of the investment vehicles like the IRA.
Mhm.
And that's what I ended up doing with it. And I wasn't sure if that was a good decision to make or a bad one, but it was one I made. But anyway,
Really good. And it was even better one when you became a member, and now we're looking at it. You know, so it's like,
yeah, oh, absolutely, yes.
then it really got to be a good story. I know that's right.
Really.
But before, like doing something wise like that, before you having advisor on your speed dial, it's phenomenal. Because a lot of people, like you said, would have said, "Oh, look at this money and just take it." No, and then so it's so true. And I would one member, she didn't know that she had a pension, and they sent a FedEx to her house, and they were like, you have until blah 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 date, and you have to take this lump sum. So she waited till after that date, and then she called me, and I was like, why did you call me like before the date? Like, she said, well, they just sent this FedEx to the house, and it took me a while just to open the envelope, and everything. I was like, oh my goodness. And she said, I was wondering, can you help me get this? Because I want to buy a car with it. So I was like, okay. So, we call the company and they go, well, she had until such and such a date. And then I said, I told you had it until such a date. And she was like, well, and they said, there's nothing we can do, and me, I'm going to try, and we'll go call and go upside down and speak in another language. What can I do, sir? Please, what can we do to get this done? She really wants this money to buy this car. And then they said no again. And then, so I said, you just need to just get it and then use that income and make the payment. But it was like amazing that she got it and just sat on the information, So she said, oh, that's what I'm going to do with that. And like kind of went through some envelopes and said, let me get JD to help me with this. But as long as we stay on it, we can win. We can win. And I've had, several. I had one lady that I went And a client of mine in Maryland said, my friend in South Carolina, and my daughter was real little. And I don't know what was wrong. Like my car was broken or something. So I rented a car and I was gonna go down to South Carolina. And this lady was retiring. And then she wanted me to help her with how to do the lump sum and this and that. So we go down, my baby in the car, hotel, all this stuff. I get down there and the lady said, I don't want to do it.
Mm.
So I get back.
Mm.
The car, drive back. I mean, that was a long trip. Come back to get back to Virginia, and then I didn't hear from her for months. She was like, "I'll let you know." Then nothing. And I'm like sending her emails regularly, nothing. So then 2 years later, 2 years later, she said, "Now I want to do it." And I said, I think they had a limit on that. You had to do it by such and such a date. That's why I got in the car, went all the way down there. You know what I mean? Because she had a cutoff date. She said, no, now I want to do it. Don't let me do it now. And they would not let her do it. They were like, you can get this check, but your cutoff date is done. No. But I just don't understand. What about me coming all the way down there didn't present a sense of urgency? This lady with a little child has rented a car and come all the way down here in a hotel, like, you know what I'm saying? Because they said this date.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing. It was like, nope, I'm not gonna do it. I'm like, do you see that it says by this date? Like, and then 2 years later, oh, I think I want to do that now. So I was like maybe she had done it with somebody else, or you know what I mean, something like that. I never really ever thought. But I called her. Everything okay? You understand? They want you so and so. You know, I was on it. No. She cried on the phone. Like we had to go all the way to an appeal board. She started crying. I felt her pain.
And they still didn't give it to her though, right? Yeah. Missed the opportunity.
Yep. And then, look, the most amazing part is why the hell was I involved? I didn't make a dime. I spent all that money going down there. Then I go back down, and then I feel sorry for it. So then I help her on the telephone. Not one dime. Like, what is up? Somebody needs to check on me. It's like, God. And I don't know. I guess I knew they were going to approve it, but I don't know. Like, you know, when you're just a caring person, you're a caring person.
Mm-hmm.
There's a point where you cannot care for somebody more than they care for themselves.
Right.
And that is very important for us as people in business, especially women in business. You know what I'm saying? You have to just say, this is the options, this is what's available, and disconnect. Like, I've never been able, you know, and Mr. Bozeman, I tell you all that. Look, he came up with a thing. I know he just like got a solution for it. See, what you have to do, Jimmy, you are not part of the problem. What did you say? That's all you can do. Like, you make me feel better. You did all that you could do. First of all, but it was, you know, but that's just what we, you know what I mean? I believe that good people, we make the world go round. And I'm sure, like, that she, you know, just know, you know, I just feel like she just didn't need to be alone. But I think that the greatest lesson in that is that you can't, you know, no matter what, you have to be personally responsible, you know, because I can give you the best advice, and unless your heart is open to receiving it, I can't make a difference in your life. You know you're down south when you hear that. I hear that car.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't think it's a bike. Somebody's car went by. You can hear that. What were you gonna say, Mr. Bozeman?
I said, no, that's right.
You know, we have to.
You can't do it for them.
We cannot. So the thing is, the purpose of this particular topic of pension versus IRA versus 401k versus, you know, that I feel that we need to disconnect from feeling like the pension is like the all in all. You know, it's not, never has been. Like it just was presented that way because we've been socialized to think that we couldn't have managed this better on our own. You know how every time they talk about Social Security being privatized, they go, you know what people would do if they got access to all that money? You know what they would do? You know, about the same thing as they do now.
Yep. That is right.
So some people waste money, some people save money, and it wouldn't be nothing different. You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing. People who are like us, who need to have opportunity to something like that. Like, think about the capital that it would give you access to, especially to our legacy. You know, if we have a shorter life expectancy as a Black people, then we are contributing more to the Social Security pool and then not living long enough to get all the money out.
Right.
Tell me, if Social Security had been privatized, what would have happened to us in 2008 with the crash?
Well, it wasn't, you know, really that much of a crash. Like, it's just that there was a recession in hiring. People didn't have jobs as much. So I want to look at it in relation to that. The market, you know what I mean, did slow down and did decline. But if they had stayed, it's funny, if they had stayed consistently into the market, they would have ended up with a lot more money than what they started the recession with. And within 10 years though. But the person would have had to stay the course. You know, so my clients that, you know, have survived that, we've gone through that. The ones I was telling you about that started in 1995, you know, and went through 9/11, went through the Great Recession, you know what I mean? And they still have money. But the key has been having a good, well-diversified portfolio. So if they had it all in those, remember that with the Great Recession, it was a lot of people doing the day trading, you know, and buying things that had no history, no real earnings, you know, and no basis for it. So if they were in a good, like, just say even the S&P 500, you know what I mean, as a representative of the stock portfolio, they would have come out of that fine. But it would have, but if that was like a key part, like if they were retiring from the get-go and needing 10% of their money, you know, at that beginning of 2007, 2008, you know, and they needed 10% each year, it would have hit them pretty hard. But if they were doing, like, say 4, which we should be much closer to like 4%, at the most 5%, you know, they could have sustained. So it really comes a lot down, even with great recessions, or just even with just sustaining that. What fees are you paying? What type of expenses are on the account? And then making sure that you have your discipline in your withdrawals, and of course the investment performance. But most of the problem was just timing. That if the person gave the money time, they would have been all right. Yeah, good question though. Very good question. Market get the market, and it will do that again. One thing we can believe in, one thing we can know for sure, is the market is going to go back down. You know, we're going to have what they call a correction. You know what I mean? At some point soon, it could be, you know, when a year from now, when the unemployment numbers aren't much better, you know, so we still, any money that needs to be used within a short period of time should not be invested for the long term. So I constantly am aware of what do you need from this portfolio? If this is for the long term, then we shouldn't, you know, use short-term volatility. Shouldn't matter. What happens next year shouldn't matter. What happens the year after next shouldn't matter. The year after next, that's only 3 years. That's not the long term. Long term is when you're looking at, you want my money to grow over the next 10 years. See, I can show you portfolios over the last 10 years that are up over 300% easily, but they needed that 10 years. Yeah. Like, good question. You know, time, discipline, perseverance. Yeah. What did Jimmy say? I'm the chosen one. I'm sure. Remember that? Remember that, y'all. I'm the chosen one. When you were at the beginning, I was talking to Sage about this man say he is the chosen one. I was like, I'm the chosen one. And then my husband said he chose me. So, can you KK heat me? What does that mean? KK. I don't know. But I don't know. Do you know it? Somebody know what that means? How you doing, Mr. Jones? Some people stay, some people spend, and some people steal. You said that. You are profound. You should run for president. Look at that. You can tell he is a member of the business network, right? Reverend Bozeman, he is Mr. Jones. Always. They're gonna be quoting you long after you're gone. Oh, look, Mr. Williams is like, I'm talking about like, turn on the microphone, crazy lady. Yeah, I said, that's funny. Here you go. You said, can you KK me?
Hold up. Can you hear JB?
Yeah. Oh my God, not that Jimmy. I thought it was another Jimmy. This is a Jimmy that is not a member of AfroEconomics. Anything that he says can and should not be held against me. It can't out towards me. This is Jimmy. Jimmy from the Jimmy who calls into the Carl Nelson show.
Yes, that was my fault. That was a type error.
Jimmy that don't have $30 a month to be a member. What would you like to say?
Oh, now I had kind of chimed in late. I saw the topic. I was gonna say, did y'all talk about the pension for the military? Like how they
No, that's something that we talk individually about if you're a member of AfroEconomics.
oh.
That's what you get in your individual consultation. You break it down to specific employers. The benefits are endless.
Yeah, because I was gonna say is they added that matching on the TSP.
Look, I muted him just to get him mad. Look, that was funny. That is funny. Jimmy, you only get to say 2 words, you non-member. I'm trying to find him. I'm playing on him. I seriously cannot find you for real.
Oops.
That is so funny. I'm gonna find him again. Yes, I have to be able to find another military person who can say that other than Jimmy. But he's referring to that they finally have allowed the TSP. I don't know, he is gone. Y'all see him on the list? Jimmy?
Who, me? Yeah, I'm here.
Lord, he's back. Because
what I was gonna say is they allowing the military, they just did about 2 years ago for them to match their TSP to where they don't have to do 20 to qualify for that pension. So where they can actually get out.
Tell you what happened. The TSP was not available to enlisted in the military at all.
Yeah, exactly. Because when I was in there, it wasn't available.
So they just made the TSP available to them so that it's like their 401k. So that they can.
Yeah, that way they don't have to stay in there for 20 years because a lot of people don't like the military. Then they can get out and they can become millionaires like that too.
They didn't have to stay in there. What it does is just gives them a way to save while they're working. Because if you stay in for 20, then you get the pension. If you want to save pre-tax, you can be in the TSP. It should have been available anyway. It really.
Yeah. So you think they trying to get rid of that pension gradually?
Yep.
No, they better not. That would be terrible. But everybody is. But they definitely wanted to have people who did 4 years to be able to save pre-tax, 8 years, save pre-tax, 12 years, save pre-tax. That's the point of it, was just to give them the ability to save money pre-tax. Just like if they were working at any other job, they could do that. Most major jobs, you could do that. Everybody that worked for the federal government could do that. Why it took them all those years is ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't understand. They call it BSR. They call it blended retirement plan, and they just started like 2 years ago. But that give the military people an opportunity to come out a millionaire if they really save that up to the maximum and just yeah, especially if they go to war and
Yeah. And they can do that anyway, but it definitely impacted all of those companies that were coming out and paying them, and they were paying all these fees, you know what I mean, unnecessarily. So if I were, and I have a membership for active military, you know, to offer them, you know, those type of services. So that's good.
And the cool thing about that TSP is actually the cheapest in the nation out of any 401k and anything. And if you get out of the that TSP follow you anywhere you go because it's cheap to manage and all that stuff.
No, it's not the cheapest. It's just a good retirement account. But the reason that it seems cheaper than a mutual fund is because the S and the C are not mutual funds. They're more indexes. So it's like using an ETF, like I use in my portfolios. So they, you know, they're not, you know, like managed, they're not managed accounts. They're just indexes that are put in there. So you get what you pay for, but they definitely still need, people do well speaking with an investment advisor like me on how to maximize the TSP. And it cannot do with you anywhere, because you would have to actually roll over if you go to a different employer. But if you stay in the military or you go work for the federal government, you know, it's still available for you. But, you know, you can't, to say anywhere would be too big a word because somebody might believe it. You can't.
Oh, that's what they said. I just read a book on that, and they said it can actually, you can actually like if you get out military or post or whatever, yeah, you can keep that TSP.
You can keep the TSP, but it can't go with you to another job unless
you. Oh no, it can't do that. No, you can't do that.
It can go with you anywhere. So that's the way that we interpret it, you know, on this side. But I know what you meant because I translate Jimmy. I speak your language.
Yeah.
I think we just go way back. All right. Thank you. I'm glad my topic grabbed your attention tonight.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Well, thank you, everybody, so much.
Thank you.
Y'all are the best.
Thank you, JB.
I'll see you Friday morning for our members only. And remember, we have the No Excuses, extremely complimentary membership. Take full advantage of the online privileges for that. I just started empowerment meetings. So people who are non-members, you can actually just schedule consultations. It is now at a discounted $150 for 45 minutes. And I'm definitely made a commitment to make sure that it increased next month, because I want to make sure that I focus on our members, but I realize there are certain people like Jimmy who deserve to have consultation and they're not ready to be a member.
Stop that, Bryan. Stop that.
How in the world is he still talking? I keep muting this man. I muted you. No, I didn't. I know I did. Theo.
Funny.
He knows people in the government, y'all be careful. But I appreciate it. I love y'all. And definitely go to AfroEconomics.com and check out everything, even. But the membership is your best, most cost-effective empowerment tool, I think. So I look forward to assisting you with your financial goals, and we can talk more about pensions, IRAs, TSPs, 401ks, 403bs, you know, and we can look through all of the information at your work plan together. Oh, thank you.
Thank you, JB.
Thank you.
All right. Good night.
Thank you, JB and the gang. I hate I plugged in late.
We appreciate you. Thank you.
Have a good night.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
See you soon. Good night. Good night now. Indeed. Oh, you hear that? Bye.